So guys, for days now, this issue of Bashir El Rufai, that is the son of El Rufai, coming out to say to support P2B and then to actually mock Tinubu and his wife. But to me, I don't think that is mockery. Just follow me through before I show you guys that headline. I want to take you back to when Bashir El Rufai criticized P2B. He said, Obi is the fraudulent banker that promised 1 billion capital to Ayu when he was not a cent, yet in PDP. Wike is right. Ayu just didn't want to mention names. If I'm lying, let the obidiots take me to court for defamation. Documents shall be revealed. And then all of a sudden, from nowhere, this person is supporting P2B. And what did he tweet? Let me show you guys the tweet that is causing this havoc online, because right now people are saying that what is really going on? Why all of a sudden Bashir Ahmed is supporting P2B? So this was what he tweeted in his X handle. He said, Atiku is the force to be reckoned with. He also feels the stars have finally aligned in his favor. And although 2019 is thought to have been his best shot, this may be one of those moments missed the man. However, the sheer force of Obi's numbers and cult-like fellowship brings a challenge. His appeal across the youth and this younger generation is one profound aspect of his leverage. Obi as a flag bearer with a strong northern candidate who would defeat Pablo on election day before our dear mother of the nation, Auntie Remy, finishes his breakfast around 12 noon. So now what's the issue now? The issue now is that El Rufai's son Bashir calls Bola Tinubu Pablo, mocks his wife Remy, hails Tinubu. So now that's the issue now. That El Rufai's son called Tinubu Pablo and also mocked Tinubu's wife by saying the mother of the nation, Remy Tinubu. But to me, I don't think that's that's mockery, because she have always wanted us to call her or address her as our mother. So why is that an issue now? But then there's this video I came across, an analysis of how Bashir Ahmed is looking. He's saying that Obi just need a northern backup, right? Someone that will vice him from the north. That's only what Obi needs. But will that be will it be El Rufai, Atiku? We don't know yet. Just want to leave it to the end and let me go talk to my views in the comment section.
Just yesterday, you did have the son of a former governor, Kaduna State governor, who happens to have been banished from the SDP and now is trying to pitch his tent with the ADC, come out on X to say, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar has a good chance to actually win the elections, but he was pointing fingers at
Peter Obi.
Mr. Peter.
He not saying he has a good chance. So he said the time he had a better chance would have been 2019 elections. But that right now, the person who has the best chance is Peter Obi.
And all he needs is just to sandwich him with a strong northern
person to sort of consolidate the northern votes.
And then social media went on to try and see how they can recreate pictures and posters of both Mr. Peter Gregory and his father, Nasir El Rufai. And it's been a drama ever since then. But let's look at that, because that's part of our wake-up conversations this morning. I don't know what you think, but I'm starting to see that we may have lost it when we start focusing on elections too early.
I think we don't have a choice. Unfortunately, that's the hand that we've been dealt, and we must play that card. You can't resist it. The political class have started to make plans and preparations for 2027. So we, the citizenry, must as well start to make plans for 2027, whether we like it or not. But anyway, we'll come back to talk about what we think about it. But let's show you the tweet that Bashir El Rufai had put up. He says, Atiku is a force to be reckoned with. He also feels the stars have finally aligned in his favor. And although 2019 is thought to have been his best shot, this may be one of those moments meets the man. However, the sheer force of Obi's numbers and cult-like followership brings a challenge. His appeal across the youth and this younger generation is one profound aspect of his leverage. Obi, as a flag bearer with a strong northern candidate, will defeat Pablo on election day before our dear mother of the nation. Please, who is he referring to as Pablo? I have no idea who he's speaking about. And Remy finishes his breakfast around 12 noon. Anyway, that being said, that's obviously this northern person he's probably pitching would be his father. And you cannot deny the cult-like followership of Peter Obi. Peter Obi has a fan base that's spread across the board. And, he has a fan base that's not just with the older generation, but also the younger generation.
Yeah.
The obedience movement is one that really feels like some form of a cult-like followership. And yes, he does have a strong chance. Whether or not that strong chance will be enough for him to win the elections is another thing to decide, because having the people who go to the polls, and it's not just the determining factor, as we've come to see in Nigerian elections, there are other factors that come to bear when you look at the elections in Nigeria. There's INEC. INEC has a role to play in determining the freeness and the fairness of the election. There's also the issue of electoral violence and ensuring that thugs are not manipulated to interfere with the process. And then there's also even being able to ensure that materials get there on time, that there's a real-time transmission of results. So there's several factors, but you cannot deny the strength of the obedience movement. Let's take the reactions of Nigerians to this tweet by Bashir El Rufai. And our first reaction this morning from X says, Atiku has been contesting for the presidency since the days of Nokia 3310. And if 2019 was his best shot,
that is right.
2027 is simply a farewell tour. The so-called stars aligning doesn't change the fact that Nigerians have consistently rejected him at the polls. The electorate is tired of recycled politicians with no clear legacy beyond political maneuvering. As for Peter Obi, yes, his online fandom is loud, but elections are not won on hashtags and echo chambers. Obi's cult-like following has yet to translate to actual political structure or widespread national machinery. A strong Northern VP, please spare us. Northern politics doesn't bend to Twitter trends. The North votes strategically, not emotionally, and they don't follow noise. They follow interest. This is very, very true.
Very true.
Pablo, as you call him, has the structure, has incumbency, and most importantly, has the grassroots presence from Lagos to Lokoja to Lafia. So while Obi's supporters are trending hashtag Take Back Nigeria, and Atiku is still chasing a legacy, APC is building bridges, consolidating power, and preparing to win again. And about Auntie Remi, she'll probably be done with her morning prayers and already sending congratulatory texts to them all, including the Kaduna genocide player. Oof. Now, wow. Anyway, these are the responses. This one says, Obi will be the flag bearer. El Rufai will not be on the ticket. The strong northern candidate will be someone else. That is basically telling him, guy, calm down. Your dad is not up for argument.
Exactly, indirectly.
With Obi as flag bearer with the strong northern candidates makes the remaining job just one. Defend the votes, that's all. It will be a mass movement. Don't bother about campaign. Just start thinking about how to collate Obi's votes. Stop APC from voter suppression or writing results with thugs and police rigging, etc. That's all. I think it was as if this person heard what I said. The explanation I just gave, that's really what it was.
The thugs and all that.
Exactly. And the other factors that win elections.
All right. Vlad the Impala. I don't know if it's Impala I wanted to about Impala.
Impala.
Okay. It says, it's either Peter Obi and Nasser El Rufai or Peter Obi and Aminu Tambuwal with Abubakar Atiku backing either one of the combinations strongly, or we all are stuck.
Now, wow.
With, I don't know who they call Pablo,
I have
by
no
the
idea
way.
too.
With Pablo. Who is Pablo? That has divided this nation along ethnic tribal lines. I don't know who they're talking about, but that's what the tweet says. I don't know what they say. But Vlad the Impala says, but let's come back and look at this clearly. This conversation has risen or has caused a lot of, I'd say, stir online on X. And if you look at it truly, Olive, who sits in the position as the strong northern candidate to a Peter Obi? That's the conversation everybody is having. So many have pointed their fingers to one place. And if this was the pawn and you're about to move it very closely to what we're discussing now, many have said the Kwankwasia.
I was about to mention that Kwankwasia has such a strong
moves
influence
with an obedient, it's going to be obedient Kwankwasia. That will be the end.
Obi Kwasia.
And I saw someone say that yesterday. He said, listen, if you get a Kwankwasia movement and then you get Obi and then you merge it, that's going to give APC sleepless nights.
Actually.
I don't know about that though.
It will, because
it looks,
whether or not we admit
very
it,
strong though.
The APC can bicker all they want and call the ADC all sorts of names, political IDPs and what have you.
Yeah.
But the truth is that the ADC is keeping the APC on its toes. They're uncomfortable with what they're seeing that these big political figures who each have had or still have their individual interests have decided to come together with the sole priority to topple the APCs, while we're seeing these last-minute desperate moves to assert themselves and let people know this is what we are doing, no, this is what we've been able to achieve. So I do believe that the APC is a bit, maybe not completely threatened, but they're definitely moved by what the ADC is doing. So if you then bring a Kwankwaso with an Obi together, that would be a lethal combination. Because Obi has a lot of influence here. You know, he has backing of young people, he has backing of the older people. And yes, he does have some support in the north. But Kwankwaso has sort of established himself in the north as a force, right? When former President Muhammadu Buhari passed, many people speculated that the reason why Alhaji Atiku'S announced his resignation from the PDP a day after the mourning had officially begun, or a day after the announcement of his passing had been made, was because that was a way for him to consolidate the followers, his CPC followers in the north. Whether or not that was a successful move, we do not know. These are all speculations, right? We never can tell if this eventually amounted into him being able to garner that level of influence, because whether we like it or not, former President Muhammadu Buhari had supporters while he was alive, and maybe he still has some supporters.
That's right. And when the former late president died, the question was who is going to take the 12 million votes that he had promised to bring, especially the 12 million votes that he had promised. And some have said that it could have been that he left with the 12 million votes. So there's a struggle between who should actually have that 12 million votes within the northern candidates in which we're looking at. But it makes a very interesting conversation in between, whether we like it or not. And it's a conversation that we would continue to look at in as much as we have said here on Breakfast Central that the media is not really the entire, I'd say, the body or the organ that's pushing 2027 conversations. It's actually what we see from the political parties. Because then again, if the current administration is not pushing 2027, then I think they should have come out with a statement and say, hey, listen, everybody stop. Please stop. We will no longer condone any presence of billboards, posters, celebrations, or even talk to the governors and tell them, listen, I understand that. Because just 2 days ago, a governor came out and said, listen, everybody, don't vote for any other person. Vote for the current president, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He's going for a second term. Let's balance equations. Let's ensure that he completes his term. And people were like, excuse me.
Under the Constitution, his tenure is 4 years.
Excuse me?
Anybody else has the
Why
power,
are you trying
has the right to
to
run.
muscle people into a corner? So these are the reasons. So when people say, oh, the media, it's not the media that's pushing 2027. No, not at all. You have the politicians who are campaigning already.
The media is just reporting what is happening. We
it.
amplify the stories that are being told.
It.
If it's positive reality, we amplify it. If it's a negative reality, we
Yeah.
report what we see. So if we don't see a number of these moves happening, there'll be nothing in that light to report. But anyway, whether we like it or not, 2027 is upon us. And as the political class is making their move, we hope that you as viewers are also making your moves, are making your plans, deciding to be involved in the process, maybe deciding to join a political party. The truth is, regardless of how much change you want to see in the country, we run a system that has to work with political parties, not individual, your individual excellence, right? If not, if it was just that, there are many individuals, technocrats, who have such sterling records. But unfortunately, if you do not get the support of a political party, you haven't started your journey. So if you want to make a change, maybe the first step will be to associate or align yourself with a political party and start to find ways to make the changes from the inside as opposed to staying on the outside and just speaking about it. But let's go outside now. We've talked about what's happening.
Because somebody is outside.
Yeah, something is
In the
outside.
cold.
And it would seem that the person is outside because her husband may have stepped outside. Or somebody is trying to make out. It's a very interesting
Friday
video.
moves.
Today is Friday, so let's just soften it. Let's, Joe, you want to introduce?
Yeah, let's take something light. So there's a video that's also making the rounds on social media. It's got to do with a married woman who, in other words, abroad, they're outside of the country, and she caught a mistress who... An alleged mistress who unknowingly to her was chatting with her husband, telling him that she's ready to go. She's good to go because she was all dressed up and set and good to go. But unfortunately for her, she didn't know that the person she was chatting with wasn't the husband because the wife had taken over the phone. So she kept communicating and telling her, okay, come outside and so on, until they eventually met, and she confronted her and told her, "Why are you doing this?"
A father of three children.
A father of 3 children.
Did he not tell you he's a married man?
You know, and the mistress was like, "I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about," and so on. So let's take a look. The reactions are what got me cracking, most importantly.
Okay, I'm interested in seeing what the reactions are.
All right. Let's see. I don't know if we'll have that video, by the way.
They follow my husband in chat. He no say na my phone. I deal with the phone since Oga don't sleep. He go meeting, go church. Sister, I won't see you. I won't see you. Good evening, my dear. How are you? Come this way. Come this way. This is my neighborhood. I really don't want to shout. Because since I went to Nigeria, you've been coming to my matrimonial home to sleep. I even hear say my husband changed your car. They walk where I fish and put everything. They chat when they chat this morning. I meet them with phone. Do you know? Do you know? Do you know? I won't. It's just for weakness, so that I'll publish you. Just to teach you a lesson. You know, say all the whole chat when they chat since make it come. The hotel when I won't go, the club when I won't go. Waiting go tell me everything. The phone there with me. Since he come for church, since he don't eat, he don't tire, they sleep. They go do you.
I don't understand.
They go do you. They go do you as a woman. They go do you.
You don't know who they talk about.
You dress a man will get 3 boys for house as children. A family man. He not tell you say him don't marry. He not tell you. This thing when they do so side chick, they go do you.
Mama, me, I don't know who they talk about.
They go do you. You leave your own husband. You come to single mother. They follow another person's husband. They go do you. Now Europe, they will not fit take laws into our hands. If we did Nigeria, you sure say this thing you go succeed.
Mama, who you they talk about? I don't know who you they talk about.
Not be you they date Papa Christian.
Well, I do, Papa Christian.
Do you want to speak?
No. The thing I want to say, she said, within Europe, I can't take laws into my hands. If not Nigeria, if you try this one.
If I still try,
Still try.
if I even do pass like
Nigeria.
that. If I do pass like that.
Ah.
Do you want to speak up for Papa?
No, I can't speak up.
Don't use your agenda now.
At this juncture, I don't hang.
Do you think there's a different way this could have been handled?
There's what?
A different way that this could have been handled?
So I always say you cannot control how the individual would react to it. So I can't say she should have done it this way, should have done it that way. But some people will say this is the best way. This is the best way, because others will say, no, you don't have to deal with the outsider. It's the person inside that has the problem, so you deal with the insider. But with the woman's tone of voice, you could tell that she's
in pain, angry.
She's an action, woman. So that's why she went all out.
Okay, I have 2 perspectives to this, but let's take other people's reactions. Then, or do I share mine first?
Let's see theirs. Then we'll now ensure that we blend it with yours.
Right,
hopefully, we have a few reactions to take. Always fighting the wrong person. If you chase this one and your husband finds another one, waiting you go do.
Mike Tyson. Valid question. You be Mike Tyson. This one says, but some men are useless, because it beats my imagination how you have a wife and be chasing other women. I honestly don't get it. What in God's name are you looking for? Okay. So I'm going to, first of all, say that I can empathize with her.
Yeah.
I don't understand it because I've not been in a position where I'm married and my husband is cheating on me, and I pray never to be in that position. It's not something anybody wants. So just like you said earlier, sometimes you can't beat a child and tell the child not to cry. So I can empathize with her pain or feeling the betrayal or feeling like this person, you are conniving with my husband to cheat me. Because she talked about having established the husband and the money that he's earning from that job that she established him with. He used it to change her car. So there's so many things. Because a job where I set for him or something like that. Say my husband changed your car. So I empathize with her, and I think that is just a very unfortunate place to be in, where you have to fight for your marriage. But I can also understand the first tweet we took, where the person says that you're fighting the outsider. That outsider is not a part of your marriage and did not make a commitment to be together with you for better, for worse. The person who took the vow is the person that you left at home, And I'm not saying this in any way to condemn or judge her, because the truth is it's easier said than done. Easier said than done, right? So as I'm saying this, I'm saying that I'm not saying this in any way to judge her, because I can empathize with what she's going through. It must really hurt, and sometimes when we're hurt, we do things that we probably did not plan for.
True.
Right. But again, it goes back to the man who hasn't been able to draw boundaries and who has disrespected his partner. The second angle to this is, I wish that as a society we will leave shame with the rightful person who should be ashamed. And I'll tell you what I mean.
What do you mean?
When a man cheats on his wife, or when a woman cheats on her husband, we make it about the partner and say things like, oh, the husband is embarrassing his wife. Look at how he's embarrassing his wife outside. And how can you be doing this, embarrassing your partner? I wish we'd actually appropriate shame rightfully to say the man is embarrassing himself, or the woman who cheated is embarrassing herself, and make people feel like, again, it goes back to the conversation we had last week about our moral compass as a society being broken. Certain things are accepted, certain things feel normal. Some people come and argue with you that, are we not our traditional religion did not allow for polygamy?
Yes.
When you were marrying the woman, did you tell her that you were going to explore polygamy, or is it something that you sprung up on her? Because if you knew that you're somebody, and for me, it's know yourself. If you're somebody that says it's too hard to keep to one woman, I cannot do that for the rest of my life.
Stay single.
Then either you choose to stay single, or if you're meeting someone, communicate to them that this is who I am. I cannot stay with one person for the rest of my life. I will explore several partners. Is that something you are okay with? Because there are people, unfortunately, the world is becoming very urban, very modern, very Western.
Yeah.
And people would say, oh yeah, there are people in marriages where, say, we heard of entanglement with a certain family. That was when entanglement became a word. There are people in open marriages. I do not endorse it. I do not support that, because I have a picture of what marriage should be.
Should look like.
And it's from the Bible, because I'm a Christian. But I mean, you're probably the one who can speak better to this, because you are the married person between the both of us.
For me, when I saw the story, I just said, you know what? It's a Friday. It's good to look at the human angle stories of what people are going through. Not every time government, or what's really happening. But that's to show that there's no respect, there are no boundaries of these actions. That's why you have people who are abroad now in that video saying, listen, if it were in Nigeria, it doesn't have to do with countries. It can happen anywhere, outside, everywhere, and so on and so forth. And that's exactly what we've seen. But another reason why this video is also key for us on Breakfast is to look at the fact that aside from the government, there are other issues that are affecting Nigerians. That's outside food, clothing, security. Now, this is a different type of security. You have to now secure your family. After you seek.
Wow. Jonathan? Wow.
That's exactly what that is. It's sad. We're not, it's not something to laugh at, as it were. But I feel for her, because she had to secure her family, move them abroad, from the challenges, and now she has to get there and now secure her family again. It's like there's no rest. It's tough.
I mean, I just feel sad. I feel sad. I think nobody deserves that. Nobody who voluntarily went into a monogamous marriage or relationship deserves to be cheated on. We don't understand how much cheating is it's a painful thing, right? Painful to the person who's being cheated on. The person who is doing the cheating, it's pleasure for you. You're enjoying it. You're enjoying the feeling of thinking you won't get caught. But this other person, it just takes one action to break this person's trust, to break their emotions. And the funny thing is, it's a ripple effect.
Yeah.
You break them, your marriage may or may not recover from it, but they also may never heal from that lack of trust.
Sure.
And then it extends to every other person. It's why you hear a lot of women say, men are this, men are that. Because one or two men have hurt them, they then generalize. So we're just a broken set of people that are breaking other people. The way they say hurt people.
Yeah.
Trauma begets trauma, and that's what we're seeing here. I'm hoping that she and her partner will be able to have a conversation about this, maybe go for couples counseling, and that they're able to decide what they want, what the next steps will be for them in their marriage.
And maybe we'll get to also see an update if care is not taken, and so on. We do have some comments on YouTube. You can also go there and drop a comment or two. Let us know. Okay, Chukwemeka, who happens to be our number one, right there, says, Happy New Month, Olive and Joe.
Happy New Month. Thank
then he
you.
goes ahead to talk about the other story. Atiku will not back down for anyone. Says Atiku will not back down for anyone. The reason the APC will win again. And I won't support an El Rufai as the VP to Obi if he eventually clinches the ticket. Mind you, the president has control over the electoral body, who will always do his bidding. We don't know about that. That's your thought.
So I understand where he's coming from about the president having control, which is something that we've always said.
Yeah.
That there should be an independence of INEC. the idea of independence of INEC would be that the INEC officer cannot be appointed.
By the
it should
president.
even be an elective position. Many
Yeah.
have argued that the position of INEC officer should be an elective position. Let the people decide who will be the electoral umpire. Because what happens is, year in, year out, things like positions like INEC officer, Chief Justice of the Federation, they would either step down one person, put a new person, and it just, people are not dumb. They just put two and two together, or they then start to make inferences
and
that there's an ulterior motive to that. So I can see where he's coming from when he says that. We're not outrightly saying that the president is controlling INEC, but what we're saying is, you can't, he who plays the piper dictates the tune, right? If my boss here, I know Mr. Kayode Akintemi is my MD, CEO, there are certain things that I will not be able to do because I know that, or there are certain things I will do that maybe I typically wouldn't do. Maybe I would have decided, if I was somebody that was slothful and didn't care much about my job, I would decide to come to work twice a week, you know, just use the remaining 3 to chill. But I know that there's somebody who has employed me, and if he says to me, he gives me an instruction, I have no choice but to follow it because he's directly involved in my being here, or maybe he appointed me to be here.
Yeah.
You know, so I see where he's coming from.
Again, Elizabeth Jones is there as well on YouTube. She says, Kwankwaso will never work with Obi or become his vice.
You see, the one thing
Kwankwaso has presidential ambition, not vice president. Yesterday, Kwankwaso loyalty went to visit Tinubu at Aso Rock. Tinubu needs Kwankwaso for Kanu's vote, and it will give him APC presidential ticket in 2031. Thinking Kwankwaso will be vice president to Obi can never work.
So you know the thing is,
work.
with elections and politics in Nigeria, I'm learning never to say never.
Yeah.
Because politics and football are like, anything can happen at the last minute.
Whistle.
Do you get, until you hear
the of the last whistle.
Anything can happen. 30 seconds to the end of the match, they can score a goal that we did not see coming. So with politics, I would never say never. And I understand why she would have such thoughts about Kwankwaso not being willing to work with Obi. But who would have seen, maybe, yes, there were speculations about the ADC. But as at 2023, I don't think we could predict that there will be a coalition by 2025. All right,
the comments are coming through. Felix Okechukwu says, I will start lending my opinion about politics in Nigeria if INEC chairman is I can't really see that one. Is is an elected position.
Exactly what I said.
I don't think we are serious.
Exactly.
But don't forget, let's also highlight, let's inundate our viewers that the situation of ensuring that the INEC officer, or you could say the INEC chief, let's use that word, is an elective position, has already been tabled by the Senate. They're looking at that.
I hope that
the president doesn't have powers
to
appoint. They're trying to ensure that they look into that. And I think the same goes for the EFCC, the ICPC, INEC,
and even the Chief Justice of the Federation. Because the truth is,
as far as I'm concerned, even the CBN.
Yes, they will tell you that the NJC is the one that does the recommendations, but the president has to approve. If we're talking about a true, total independence of the judiciary, it should be without the input of the executive. Let the NJC within itself decide who
they think. They should cast their votes.
You know, at the end of the day, they should be able to decide with or without the approval of the executive.
They should also go to the ballots. I mean, just decide, okay, who do you think?
The same way they do NBA conference every year, or NBA elections, and they vote for who the president should be.
That's it.
Anyway, it may not be by voting. It may not be by voting of the general.
No, not general.
Maybe
but
the body of benchers.
A board, yes, a body of benchers and so on, and then they pick. Olive, I think some of these things are known already because there are people even before us, before we were born. Let me use that word, from as early as the 60s, who had foreseen these things, and I'm sure they must have tabled it at some point, but it didn't fly.
That's what they say in Igbo. They said, that is, a mouth that wants to criticize P2B will eventually support him. And that's exactly what's happening now. Because PDP now, they are struggling that they want P2B back. LUP, on the other hand, indirectly don't want Obi to leave. And ADC also wants P2B to become the flag bearer, but the issue there is that Atiku is there. And Atiku will not allow P2B to become the flag bearer, because for Atiku to come out and contest and say that he's going to run as the president, that means P2B will be very hard for him to get that ticket in ADC. That means P2B is not going to join that coalition no matter what happens. So now the question is now, where will P2B run? But I love the fact that everybody that wants to criticize P2B, even El Rufai and his son, two of them, I know they criticize P2B. All of a sudden, they are backing P2B because they've seen that this man, there's no way you can fight him. You can't use bribe and fight him. You can't use corruption. You can't use his past record and fight him. This passes a message to Nigerians and to everybody in this world. Your past record matters. What you do in the past is very important because it might haunt you in the future. Assure that we have a country that follows law and order. Reno Mokri have come out to even do investigation that Tinubu is a drug lord. Yes. He came out publicly and said that Tinubu is a drug lord and he's not qualified to be our president. Then, but here we have him as our president. That means we have someone that has been convicted of drug dealing as our president, someone that has been ranked as the third most corrupt leader in the world. This person, as we have a working country, he shouldn't be our president. That means his past will haunt him in the future. So this is a message, aside politics, this is a message to Nigerians. Make sure your past does not taunt your future. Because everybody have a bright future. Depends on how you build it. Because if you have a dirty past, it will haunt you in the future. P2B should actually stand as an example to every area of life, of integrity, discipline, accountability, relevance, honesty. P2B, it should be a perfect example of what you should use to picture your life, if you're on the right track about life or not. Because this man was in power for 8 good years in Anambra State and he left nothing. P2B left nothing. No track of criminality, no track of fraud, no track of budgeting, no track of over-budgeting, no track of anything for 8 good years. On that, he even left money for the government to use and continue running the government. He did not take a dime, but yet he's still using his own money to donate to families, to schools, to universities. P2B will remain our best shot until we learn to make it right. But I will allow you guys to in the comment section and subscribe.